You can visit our website www.instantk for more free videos. You can contact us through our mobile number 8088-700-800. This is a problem on fund flow statement. In our management accounting, there's a chapter called fund flow statement. One of the items in that fund flow statement are fund flow from operations, and by preparing this adjusted P&L, the balancing figure what we get here is fund flow from operations. Here it always starts off with opening balance. Opening balance of P&L always shows a credit balance, so it is taken on the credit side, and closing balance of P&L always shows it comes on the debit part of it. So it is here balance carried on, closing balance of P&L. So this is the opening that will be given in the problem. Closing balance also will be given in the problem, and we'll be given lots of operational expenses and non-operational expenditure. All operational expenses we can ignore, do nothing, but non-operational expenses we are going to take them on the debit side of P&L adjustment account. So it's just given a form of a block. All the it will not be given separately operational expenses, non-operational. It's not like that in P&L. As we run through a problem, we'll come to know more of it. You'll have to selectively pick up the non-operational expenses and put them here one by one. And coming to the non-operational income, you'll have to pull out all the non-operational income and put them here one by one, and the balancing figure will be funds flow from operations. This is a balancing figure. This is a general template. It holds good for all items to come, all the problems in the fund flow chapter, fund flow statement chapter. Here the usual items of non-operational expenditure are listed down here. These are the usual items. You could find one or two more as in the examination, but all you'll have to ask yourself, you'll have to ask yourself a question. Is it an expenditure which is non-operational? If yes, you'll have to put it here. Even though it's not listed here, you'll have to put it here. That's the reason why I have not put these expenses here. If I put this here in a template form, if there's a new item, you'll go blank in the examination hall. I don't want you to go blank. So this is just a usual item. If you find any new item, ask yourself a question. Is this a non-operational expenditure? If it is yes, just list it down here. Is it a non-operational income? If the answer is yes, just list it down here. Usual items of non-operational income are dividend received, profit on sale of fixed assets. Usual items of non-operational expenditure are transfer to general reserve, or also called as reserve fund, loss on sale of fixed assets, proposed dividend or dividend paid, provision for taxation, discount on issue of shares or debentures, goodwill written off, preliminary expenses written off, and we'll also see depreciation. Though depreciation is an operational expenditure, it is depreciation on fixed assets is a non-cash expenditure. Hence it is taken here. It's taken on the debit side here. Depreciation is taken here. Depreciation, you don't cut out a check and in the favor of depreciation and give to someone. All other items of expenditure in P&L, you're going to cut out a check and give to a person. The depreciation is one item where you don't cut a check. There's no cash outflow. It's called non-cash expenditure. It's going to come here. So there's no cash movement. There's no cash outflow. That's why it comes here. And similarly, appreciation on fixed assets is a non-cash income. That's why it will come here. Non-cash income. Appreciation of fixed assets, if there's anything, will come here. With this general format, let us see how a problem looks like. Let me leave the format here. It can help us to see how a problem is done. Now, here in this problem, this is a problem, a typical problem, which is going to help us understand this template. You cannot find a much more difficult problem or an easy problem. There's no such thing called difficult problem or an easy problem. It's just a template based problem. Here, all that you're going to do is, from the following particulars, ascertain the funds flow from operations. From the following particulars, ascertain the funds from operations. You are given these particulars, you are given opening balances, you are given closing balances. So everything has got an opening and a closing. to solve this using this template what we just discussed. I'm just putting this template here just to save your time. I've already done a little bit of ruling. Here this template, adjusted profit loss count, debit side, particulars. Usually particulars is a big column, but I've just condensed the column. I've squeezed it a little bit so that I can give a lot of working here to show you how these numbers have been arrived at in this column. Amount, again particulars and rupees. Please note anything written or anything in this green column, working column will be written in green color, and that's not for exams. You won't have to write this in the exam. You can just write particulars and amount. Anything written in the green is not for exams, it's just for your understanding and revision. This is a working based on which how these numbers have been arrived at. Hope you understand this. Let's start working on the problem. The problem says here, balance, opening balance of P&L. So this is the opening balance of P&L. We are going to write the opening balance of P&L on the credit side here. By, this is the opening balance, by balance brought down. How much? 90,000. Then next item is, we have, once you're going to write this, you can immediately write the closing balance. Closing balance of P&L. I'm going to give a little bit of space, and at the end I'm going to write closing balance. To balance carried down, given the problem 1,20,000, I'm going to write this 1,20,000 here. This is given in the problem, so no working to be done, 1,20,000. Opening here, I've given a lot of space for writing lots of these items here. So closing balance always is the last item in the account. So if closing balance comes here, it will be the last item, otherwise here it will be the last item. After that we are going to have totals. So I've given a little bit of space. So next item, after finishing the opening and closing, opening balance is taken here, closing balance is taken here. Opening here, closing here. With that, we have finished off with the first line of the problem. Now coming to the second line, general reserve 30,000, 36,000. So there is an increase in the general reserve from 30 to 36. Increase in general reserve means there is a transfer made from our profit and loss account to general reserve. That transfer it will be disallowed, so you're going to write back. So in a format we have said goodwill or transfer to general reserve. So this is a non-operational expenditure. This comes here. So you're going to say non-operational expenditure, so transfer to general reserve, you're going to put it here. Transfer to general reserve. That's what I'm going to do here, to transfer to general reserve. The amount is difference between these two amounts. It has become 36, it was 30. So 36,000 minus 30,000, so that 6,000 is the amount transferred to general reserve. That's the first line item, transfer to general reserve. It's debited to adjusted P&L. That's what we have done. Next item is goodwill written off. Goodwill is 30,000, it's become 24,000. That means there's a write-off of goodwill. To goodwill written off, 30,000 minus 24,000. Mind it, this is a general reserve, is a credit balance. It is gone up. Here it is 30,000 become 24. That means goodwill was 30. It's an asset side. It was 30. It's become 24. Difference 6,000 is written off. So it is 30 minus 24. 30,000 minus 24,000 is 6,000. That's the amount of goodwill written off. Then next, this is goodwill written off. We have it here, goodwill written off. That is debited to P&L adjustment. That's exactly what we have done here. That's the difference between the closing minus the opening. Whereas general reserve, also closing minus opening. Goodwill, This is opening minus closing. This one asset. It's a reduction in the value of asset. That's why we have done 30 minus 24. Here we did 36 minus 30. Here 30 minus 24 because it's a asset. Reduction in asset, it's a loss. Next item, third item given in the problem is, we finished this, general we finished, goodwill, preliminary expenses written off. Here we can see this, preliminary expenses written off. It is debited to P&L adjustment. That's exactly what we are going to do here. Preliminary expenses written off. Preliminary expenses written off, debit to adjust P&L, preliminary expenses off. 16,000 became 10,000. So that decrease is due to write-off. So 6,000 is written off. Then we have the closing balance, total of these items, depreciation. Provision for depreciation from 16,000 it went up to 24,000. So next line item is provision for depreciation. We have it in our template here, provision for depreciation. Depreciation, non-cash expenditure, depreciation, though operational expenditure, depreciation. So that provision for depreciation. How much is that? 24 minus 16,000. 24,000 minus 16,000 is 8,000. If we total this up, we are finished with all items in this item. We are closed. Now we'll just do the arithmetical work. 6 plus 6 plus 6, 18,000, 18 plus 8, 26, 26 plus 1 lakh 20 is 1 lakh. 6,000 plus 6,000 plus 6,000 plus 8,000 is 26,000 plus 1 lakh 20,000 will be 1 lakh 46,000. So this is 1 lakh 46,000. Total of this side is 1 lakh 46,000. Same total is recorded here, 1 lakh 46,000. And fund flow from operations is the balancing figure. By fund flow from operations, balancing figure, 1 lakh 46,000 minus 90,000, this opening balance will give us 56,000. This 56,000 is the balancing figure. 56,000 entered here will give us fund flow from operations. Our fund flow from operations is 56,000. So let me quickly run through this. Template, using the template, I've substituted these values given in the problem to this template. I've written the template as it is here, and these differences given in a working here and extended. Exam, you won't have to write this column. You can skip this column for exam. It's only for your understanding and revision. Otherwise, the total of this side and difference is balancing figure. Fund flow from operations is 56,000. With this, we have completed the sum. Fund flow of 56,000.